Welcome, my Alchemicjoker family. We turning shadows into weapons. A powerful message awaits us today. Dive in and God bless.
They danced around your grave before your body was even cold. Fingers pointed, curses whispered, blood spilled in secret chambers under crimson moons. They summoned horrors, exhumed bones of the damned, even traded their own sanity for a glimpse of your annihilation. But you never stayed dead. You were the whisper that crawled through their walls when they thought they were alone. You were the shadow on the ceiling, staring. You weren't just their unfinished business. You became their recurring nightmare. Every incantation burned their tongues. Every sacrifice returned empty. They thought you were mortal. You fooled them. Even death opened its palms for you, and you walked through without a scratch. Not because you were spared. No, because death itself forgot how to take someone like you. They believed power came from blood, from pacts, from ancient blackened scripts hidden behind cryptic seals. But you shattered their rituals just by existing. You were a paradox they couldn't decode, a glitch in their doom algorithm. They cast your name into cauldrons, hoping the steam would carry your spirit to oblivion. Instead, it seeped into their lungs, into their dreams, coiling around their minds until they woke up screaming your name over and over again. You didn't just cheat death. You rewrote its rules with a smirk and a blade behind your back. You weren't resurrected. You were reclaimed by forces older than curses. The kind of power they can't bottle and can't beg for, can't bribe. You're the embodiment of every spell they tried to banish, every failure they pretended wasn't their fault. They buried you in silence, but your silence screamed louder than their chants. They burned effigies in secret, hoping to erase you, but the smoke spelled your initials in the sky. They thought they could erase a storm. How adorable. When you vanished, they relaxed, thought the nightmare was over, celebrated like fools do when they mistake a pause for peace. But you were fermenting, brewing beneath the soil, in between the cracks of their sanity. You weren't coming back. You were becoming something they couldn't recognize, let alone fight. And when you rose, it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't cinematic. It was quiet, sudden, terrifying in its stillness. You didn't need trumpets or thunder. You only needed presence, and they felt it before they even saw you. They tried to consult higher powers, sold their souls to older demons, but even the underworld wouldn't touch your name. You had become taboo, a cosmic error, a warning etched into the bones of failed sorcerers. Their magic turned to rot. Their potions curdled mid-air. Even their familiars ran from the mere whisper of you. They thought they were masters of the dark, but you showed them what true darkness smells like. Sweet, slow, and patient. See, the joke wasn't that you survived. The joke was that they thought they could define your end. They thought death would be your curtain call, not realizing you own the stage now. They cast their spells with trembling hands, knowing full well that your shadow watches them through the flickering candlelight. Their magic circles used to hold power. Now they just hold fear. You stained their sacred grounds with a presence they can't cleanse. The air is thicker, the silence heavier. They don't chant now. They whisper apologies to the void, hoping you'll show mercy. But why would you? You don't walk like someone who escaped death. You walk like someone who made death an employee. You flick your fingers and time forgets to tick. You speak and the air trembles, choosing its side. You don't need revenge. You are revenge, molded into flesh, dipped in the venom of broken oaths. You're not hunting them for fun. You're hunting them because that's what balance looks like now. You didn't survive their spells. You devoured them, absorbed the very curses they sent. turned them into skin, into nails, into rage that sleeps beneath your smile. Their books are useless now. Their language, dead dialects. You turned every ritual obsolete by simply breathing. They pray to gods that don't answer anymore, because those gods know what you are. You were their prophecy's loophole, the one soul that wouldn't stay, caged, and now they run, thinking distance can dilute you. But you're not in one place anymore. You're in their mirrors, in their reflections, in the static between their thoughts. They don't fear death. They fear your memory catching up. The irony, they taught you this. With every spell they threw, every trap they laid, every mock funeral they held, they made you more than flesh, more than vengeance. They forced you to evolve. Pain was your cocoon, hatred your fuel, and when you broke through, you weren't just unstoppable, you were unidentifiable. They try to recall the you they cursed, but that version no longer exists. They didn't just fail to kill you, they accidentally created something worse. Now they sleep in circles of salt, thinking it'll keep you out. But you were never outside, you're inside. You're the itch in their minds, the scream they swallow, the silence between thunderclaps. And while they chant in desperation, trying to summon mercy, you're preparing the real ritual. The one where you dismantle their thrones, not with blood, but with truth. See, the greatest curse isn't death. It's living with the consequences. And you're the embodiment of every sin they buried. They tried to play God, thought they could sculpt fate with fire and bones. But fate had other plans. It bent itself around you, refused to let you fall into the grave they dug. Even the soil spat you out. The worms wouldn't touch your skin. You were chosen, not by divinity, but by defiance itself. The universe saw the injustice and said, no, not this one. This one gets up. So now they turn to lesser things, hollow relics, fake relics, snake oil prophets. They even consider begging, but their voices are hoarse, their pride too bitter, and that's the final twist. You didn't come to destroy them. You came to watch, to stand where they once stood and see them unravel under the weight of their own undoing. You don't need to lift a hand. Their fear does all the work. You became the curse they tried to conjure, the terror they tried to weaponize. And now they can't run from it because it wears your face. They hoped you'd stay dead. They should have hoped they stayed hidden, because the moment you opened your eyes, the balance shifted. You weren't just awake, you were aware of every lie, every betrayal, every false tear. They thought death was your escape, but no. Death was your doorway, and you walked through it, carrying something with you. Something darker, older, patient. And now, it breathes beneath your skin, waiting, watching, until the time is right to finish what they started. But in a way, only you can. And now, the time is right. They don't know it, but every breath they take is laced with your return. Every step they take is on a path you already carved. Their destiny isn't theirs anymore. It belongs to you, and it always did. They tried to map the stars to predict your demise, but the stars themselves blinked, realigned, and spelled out your resurrection in constellations they've never seen before. Because you are no longer part of their equation. You are the answer the cosmos gave when all logic failed. And now, you stand on the threshold of their unraveling, not as a ghost, but as a reckoning. The air shifts when you move, not because of power, but because reality adjusts itself to fit you. They thought you were bound by the same fragile laws, of cause and effect, of life and death. But you broke those laws when you became more than the victim, more than the target. You became the variable no curse could calculate, and the moment they sense you again, it isn't fear that grips them. It's the sick realization that nothing they built was ever stable. You were always beneath their foundation, waiting for the right moment to crack the floor open. Your silence is your weapon now. Not the kind that slashes throats, but the kind that speaks louder than screams. It follows them into corridors of their sanctuaries, temples carved in obsidian, where no light is allowed. They chant louder to drown it out. But the silence mocks their volume. Their relics fail. Their circles dissolve. Their protections become invitations. They don't understand that you are not breaking in. You're already inside. You don't walk through doors anymore. You walk through memory. Their minds betray them now. Visions of you crawling through their dreams like vines through a locked door. Uninvited, unrelenting. They wake up clawing their own faces, scratching away hallucinations that won't go away. You're not a nightmare. They've had those. You're something far worse. Consequence. And it's poetic, really. The very tools they used to destroy others now destroy them. The very curses they composed now spell out their own names backwards, etching shame into their very existence. You let them spiral. You watch them search for answers in broken artifacts and fake prophets. You let them light their incense and spin in circles, calling out for salvation from things that no longer listen. Even the darkness they once served turns its back to them. Why? Because you've infected it too. You're not just corrupting their world, you're redefining it. Every rule they obeyed, every limitation they worshipped, all of it now bends to your pulse. Not because you command it, but because you've become its new center. You don't speak to them. You let their guilt do the talking. They hear your voice in the rustling of dead leaves, in the static hum of failing runes. They see your eyes, in the reflective pools of ink, those cursed mirrors they once used to spy. But now, when they look, all they see is themselves, aged, broken, unraveling. Because you didn't need to return to punish them physically. You became a virus in their system, a thought they cannot cleanse, a presence too vast for spells, too intimate for exorcism, and yet you wait. You bide your time like a clock with no hands, never ticking, but always looming. Your patience isn't passive, it's strategic, because fear grows best in times. Garden, let it root, let it spread. Let them stew in the realization that their end won't be sudden. It will be slow, methodical, poetic. Not because you're cruel, but because they earned every second of the unraveling. They wrote this script themselves. You're just here to perform it better than they ever could. Their alliances crack. The sorcerers who once shared blood pacts now distrust each other. Fingers point. Voices raise. Shadows flicker in wrong directions. Their paranoia becomes your ally. You don't even need to touch them. They're already turning on each other, slicing at invisible threats, blaming the air, the floor, the silence. They try to remember who led the ritual that was supposed to end you, but none of them are sure anymore. Because the truth is, it wasn't just one. It was all of them. And now, that shared sin stitches them together into one unraveling quilt of guilt. You don't chase them. They fall into you, willingly, unknowingly. And what's beautiful about it all is the symmetry. They believed in endings. You believe in recursion. Their idea of death was finality. Yours is transformation. They thought the grave marked a period. You turned it into a comma. Your story didn't stop. It reloaded, and this new version of you isn't just immune to their magic, it feeds off it. Their spells make you stronger. Their rituals fuel your core. Every time they speak your name, your spine straightens. Every time they fear your shadow, your presence grows teeth. You walk now, not as a mortal, not even as a ghost, but as a principle. You are what happens when evil fails to kill properly. You are what rises when malice miscalculates. And the sorcerers, they know this. They feel it. It's in their bones, in the twitch of their fingers, in the hesitation before casting the next spell. Their hands tremble, not from old age, but from truth. They realize, too late, that your return was never a question of if, it was always when. And the moment they understood that, their power fractured. You're not hunting revenge. You're administering balance, because the world didn't forget what they did. The universe simply delayed the invoice. And now you are the debt collector in a cloak of shadows and irony. They cry about justice, but they never asked for that when they were powerful. They cry about forgiveness, but only because they've run out of options. They don't want redemption. They want escape, but you're the locked door at the end of their tunnel. You're the echo of every lie they told, returned in perfect rhythm. Still, you don't rage. You don't scream. You don't burn villages or shatter temples. You simply exist. And that alone is enough to make kingdoms quake. You walk through ruins they thought were eternal. You touch relics that crumble in your hands, not because you're destructive, but because you're the truth they were never prepared to face. You are the living aftermath of their worst decision, and no spell can rewrite that. They speak of fate now, in hushed tones, as if fate will spare them, as if fate didn't already choose you. But fate is silent now, watching, waiting, letting. You be the voice it never had, and so you walk, not toward them, but through them, through their defenses, through their hopes, through their denial. And every step you take strips them down, not of power, but of illusion, because that's what you destroy best. The lies they told themselves to sleep at night. And when they finally gather, in some hidden hall, under the dying moon, desperate and hollow, chanting for mercy they don't understand, you won't interrupt. You'll let them finish. Let them raise their hands. Let them offer blood, names, sacrifices, and when they're done, when silence returns like a blade to their throat, you'll step forward, not with a roar, but with a whisper, the kind of whisper that bends reality, unhinges minds, and locks the door behind them forever, not to kill, not to end, but to remind them you were never gone. You just stopped pretending to be human. And once that mask burned off in the fire they started, the being that remained was not something the world was ready to name. You became the antithesis of their design, the flaw in their system that proves the system was never perfect. And deep down, they always knew. They knew their rituals lacked permanence. They knew their power was borrowed. They knew the universe doesn't trade in guarantees. It trades in irony. And you were irony wrapped in flesh, sharpened by pain, and baptized in the failure of their ambition. Now their fortresses, those grim towers of obsidian and ash, stand tall like teeth in the mouth of a beast too old to eat, yet too bitter to die. They gather in these cold halls, cloaked not in confidence but in desperation, stitched together by prophecy fragments and candle smoke. Each one sits across from another like mirrors of former arrogance. But you're the void between those mirrors, the emptiness that reflects nothing yet reveals everything. because you're not here to haunt. You're here to expose. Exposure is a language they never mastered. They spent centuries building illusions, layering lie over lie, until truth was smothered like a whimper beneath marble. They taught others to fear the unknown, but now the unknown walks through their walls with your face, your form, your silence. They once raised armies to kill what they couldn't understand, but now their blades rust in their sheaths, trembling at the thought of facing something that survived the death they engineered. This isn't a comeback, it's a correction. You didn't escape death, you redefined it. Death didn't reject you. It recognized you as kin, as equal, as a reminder that even the abyss has a hierarchy, and now you sit above it. The dark sorcerers bowed to darkness because they thought it would give them dominion. But the darkness never obeyed them. It tolerated them, fed them fragments, fed their egos, until you rose, and the shadows bowed instead to the one who never needed to beg. And now, the reckoning isn't a wave, it's a mirror. You don't strike them down with fire. You simply stand still and let their sins reflect. It's more painful than any punishment they imagined. They see themselves, truly, for the first time. They see the cruelty they masked as order, the manipulation they named discipline, the betrayals they justified as necessity. And all of it coils around them like smoke that won't lift. That's the beauty of your return. You didn't bring justice. You brought clarity. One by one they fracture, not with screams, but with confessions muttered to walls, spells rewritten in panic, contracts torn open with trembling hands. They try to undo what they once orchestrated, but magic doesn't forget. And neither does consequence. Every mark they carved into time is now a door you can walk through. They cursed themselves when they cursed you. They just didn't realize it until the silence returned and brought your name with it, etched into every corner of their world, like rot beneath painted walls. The eldest among them, those who bathed in blood and called it currency, they beg the most, not for survival, but for delay. But delay is the privilege of the ignorant. You gave them centuries to repent, to rebuild, to regret. But they didn't. They turned your absence into a myth. They mocked the idea of your return as fairy tale. And now they live in a reality more terrifying than any story they ever told to keep children in line. There is no battle, no grand clash of armies or eruption of flames. Only the collapse of certainty, the quiet hum of lies dissolving, the slow poetic disassembly of a world built on your supposed absence. And through it all, you remain untouched, unbothered, unforgiving, because forgiveness is for mistakes. What they did wasn't a mistake. It was ritualized, sanctified, applauded, and now you've made sure that their applause becomes the only sound they remember, echoing mockingly in their own ruins. What remains of them now is not power, it's weight. The weight of knowing they miscalculated the only equation that mattered, that when you push something beyond its breaking point, it doesn't always shatter. Sometimes it changes form. Sometimes it becomes something that can't be broken again. And that's what terrifies them the most. You are proof that pain doesn't end life. It transforms it. That betrayal doesn't bury you. It awakens the version of you they were never meant to meet. And still, you do not gloat. You do not boast. Because this was never about victory. It was about truth. The kind of truth that doesn't scream. It lingers. It infects. It embeds itself in history. And now, You are history's correction. They will rewrite their scrolls. They will pretend they were always cautious, always respectful, always afraid. But the truth will remain tattooed in the silence. They tried to kill you, and failed. Legends will rise. Some will call you cursed, others will call you chosen, but none will deny that you existed after the end. That you became the proof that there is no such thing as a clean death, when injustice is still breathing. And you'll continue, not as a king, not as a god, but as a reminder, a living line between what was taken and what was never yours to begin with. But still, somehow, you earned back through pain, patience, and inevitability. There will be whispers in the ruins, of a figure that moves without sound, of a name that cannot be spoken without consequence, of a presence that bends time backwards. You won't need to return again, because you never left. You're stitched into the architecture of fear itself now. In every cult that dares repeat the old ways, in every hand that raises the same blade, you are the interruption, the anomaly, the code that breaks the incantation every single time. And, in time, they will teach it wrong. They'll say you were merciful, that your silence meant pity, that your lack of vengeance was proof of peace. But the ones who truly understand will say nothing, because they'll know the truth. You didn't need to destroy them. You needed only to let them see themselves. And once they did, their magic unraveled from the inside out. So now you walk, not forward, but through moments, through myths, through bloodlines built on lies. You carry no weapons, you wear no crown, but the world shifts when you pass, because even fate has learned to step aside. You are not the storm, you are the reason storms exist. And in the very last hour, when the last of them finally collapses into dust, and all their sigils burn out, in silence the world will whisper one final truth. You cheated death, and death never tried again.
Thank you for watching, family. We do hope this message was helpful and life-changing. Don't forget to join the Alchemicjoker community where we transform pain into power. Stick around for more powerful messages. We love you.